Okay, before we begin, this topic is more serious than most I cover on this channel, and I'm not as informed as I could be on this situation. So what I'm saying is, from the information I've seen across multiple videos on the topic, I'm going to cover this to the best of my ability. But I don't know German laws, so take what I have to say with a grain of salt, and don't take me at my word for everything. This video is just an opinion based on the evidence I've seen. However, if you're new to this channel, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, as I'm aiming for 25,000 subscribers by the end of the year. You can also join my Discord to talk to me daily, and donate on my Patreon or Ko-fi to support me and these videos. Shout out to Spice62 for the $90 donation on Patreon, and let's get right into it. So Cosmodore has decided to return to YouTube with a response video, in which he downplays the severity of his actions and tries to hide behind very loose laws to evade any backlash, not recognizing the fact that a 4-year age gap in a relationship where he emotionally abused his partner when they were 14 or 15 and he was 19 is unacceptable, just because it's not actually illegal according to his own recount of the laws, which I'm not sure is correct, given a 4-year age gap is still probably illegal, and from this result on Google I believe it still may be illegal. I'm just not confident on that because I don't know German laws well. That being said, I have a lot to comment on in this video, like how his victims have requested him to leave their life, yet he's still bringing this up to make a video, once again where he lies and twists the truth with well-picked words to try and evade backlash. And before Norny and Just Stop streamed, he was actually getting away with it. He had a very positive like to dislike ratio, which literally disgusts me. Now, this response sucks. Don't doubt that for a second. He starts by saying that 4-year age gaps are normal, like there's some kind of complete social divide between Germany and the rest of the world, when there simply isn't, and cuts context on his relationship to ignore how he took advantage of a power dynamic when abusing a 14-year-old and emotionally manipulated them to get away with this behavior for way longer than he should have. Cosmodore does not deserve to return to this platform. He is a danger to his whole audience and hasn't even made an attempt to correct his behavior. I mean, in this video he literally tried to defend it, which makes me believe he could do it all again, anytime he wanted, which sickens me even more. I used to watch Cosmodore, and at 14 I know very well I wouldn't have been comfortable in a relationship with someone 4 to 5 years my senior. Nobody would. Cosmodore knows that this type of relationship is morally reprehensible, but he doesn't care. But let's get into the video because there's more points I want to acknowledge from his video. So I'll do that now.
This is going to be a statement. This is not an apology video because I feel like I've issued too many apologies here on YouTube and in private, and furthering that sort of discussion is just gonna make me seem insincere. And also because it's not my viewers' place to accept any apology I make. That's entirely on the people I negatively impacted.
So if you acknowledge the fact that it's not the audience's place to talk about and accept an apology from you, why did you make an apology before? How does that make any sense? You're literally backtracking on your own actions. That just, I'm not sure if I'm just being really dumb, but that makes no sense to me. None. Not even in the slightest.
And they already said that they don't want an apology from me, but for me to be out of their lives entirely.
So they say they want him out of their lives, so what does he decide to do? He decides to make another video talking about them. Where is the logic here? The people that you've negatively affected said, please get out of my life. You obviously went to them and asked them because you felt guilty, so you acknowledged the fact that you're in the wrong, and then they've said, please leave my life, and you've gone, time to make another video defending myself. It's like, what? That doesn't make any sense, man.
What I want to do here is set something straight, say my piece, and hopefully move on from this, because I feel like I've let this go on for long enough, and there's already enough rumors being spread about that I'd rather not perpetuate any further.
He claims that the things being spread are rumors, but they're allegations. There's evidence to support them, and you've even apologized for the things claimed against you. So they're not just rumors being perpetuated, they're allegations that have been claimed against you. You can't just move on like nothing's happened. You haven't addressed anything properly.
For those who don't know, I've been accused of being a child groomer for being in a relationship with someone under the age of 18 when I was 19.
He fails to mention the fact that this person was 14 or 15. They were literally 4 to 5 years younger than him.
I said before that I wouldn't talk about this again, and I really wish I could have been true to my word on that, but the rumors just keep on piling up, and I still get death threats for something I wish I could have been able to put behind me. And I really needed to take a step away from it all to fully realize how ridiculous everything is.
He claims that this situation is ridiculous. Bro, you got accused of grooming a minor. It's not just ridiculous. And also, you're saying that The hate isn't going away, so you decided you were going to make another video even when you said you were going to be done. Of course the hate's not just going to disappear. You're literally preying on a 14 to 15-year-old. And you've admitted to that, including in this video. And you're surprised that people are mad at you? And you're surprised that people continue to talk about you and criticize you? People only really talk about you, even publicly, when you post videos like this.
As you may know, I live in Germany, and age of consent laws are a little different here than they are in the United States, as you're not considered a child anymore when you turn 14, and that's the environment I grew up in.
That's not how law works. You're still a child until 18. What he means is the age of consent is 14. He's completely misworded the whole of it there to try and misrepresent Germany's laws. You're not just an adult at 14. You don't become an adult till 18, I'm pretty sure, in every country.
I've had people in my high school dating 15-year-olds when they were 19, just like my ex and me. My mom dated her 18-year-old boyfriend when she was 14, and
why does he just use other people and throw other people under the bus? Like, for some reason that makes it okay? It's not okay because other people have done it. That's not how it works.
no one ever batted an eye on that. And that's the fact for most of Europe.
No, it's not. I live in Europe. No, it's not. A 19-year-old dating a 14 to 15-year-old is illegal. Like, this is not just accepted in most of Europe. It's not. It simply isn't. That's just a bold-faced lie.
A lot of those comments accusing me of being a pedophile say that I'm only making this up, or that this is only the case if both partners are under the age of 18, because this is the first thing that comes up on Google.
What I'm seeing from these results is that it seems to be technically legal. That simply doesn't mean it's morally okay.
As long as a person over the age of 21 does not exploit a 14 to 15-year-old's lack of capacity for sexual self-determination, in which case a conviction of an individual over the age of 21 requires a complaint from the younger individual. Being over 21 and engaging in sexual relations with a minor of that age does not constitute an offense by itself. Which is a lot of fancy talk to say I was entirely within my right to have a sexual relationship with someone of that age, which I did not have.
That's not what it's saying. It's saying that it's not illegal to do so. It's not saying it's okay or morally correct. That's simply not what it's saying.
But because it's the first thing on Google, that means it must be true, and it's really tiring trying to argue with people like that. Now, because I knew American sensibilities are a little different, I did try to keep my relationship a secret because I really didn't want people accusing me of being a pedophile, but that is exactly what happened. I'm still being called a pedophile for it over something I did when I was a teenager, and I can confidently say that is not the case. I never exchanged nudes with anyone. I never had any sexual conversation besides weird Rule 34 shit you can find on most every Twitter timeline. I never met up with my partner. Literally nothing happened, and I'm still being called a danger to kids, or that I'm trying to lure in fans by making cartoon videos, which I'm pretty sure only stems from the belief that just because I make videos on animation, that means all my fans are underage, when you can simply look at my analytics and realize that is not the case.
This is a really dumb argument. Like, oh look, my analytics say that most of my audience are adults. Well, Cosmodore, would you look at that? So do my analytics. Do you know why that is, Cosmodore? It's because most kids sign up for an adult account because they want to evade any filters. So, what's your point here? It's a really dumb argument. Also, just because you claim nothing happened doesn't mean that you didn't emotionally abuse someone, and doesn't mean that your relationship with someone 4 to 5 years your junior is okay or acceptable under any standard.
So there's that. As far as me being a groomer goes, well, I already said before that it's not a fair term to use and it did nothing to change anyone's mind, so let's look at the definition, shall we? Child grooming is befriending and establishing an emotional connection with the child and sometimes the family to lower the child's inhibitions with the objective of sexual abuse. Child grooming is also regularly used to lure minors into various illicit businesses such as child trafficking, child prostitution, cybersex trafficking, or the production of child pornography.
Now, here, I feel like you might not be able to make the actual claim that Cosmodore is a groomer, based on the fact that he hasn't allegedly done anything sexual from the evidence I've seen. I might be wrong. If there is counter evidence, please do correct me. From what I've seen, as long as he hasn't done anything with the intent of sexual abuse, I don't feel like you can call him a groomer. That still doesn't mean, though, that he just gets off scot-free from the predatory behavior he's done towards a minor. They're still a kid and you still emotionally abused them. And you were still 4 to 5 years older than them. So you can't just play it off like it isn't morally wrong. The relationship you had is simply morally wrong.
Nowhere in all my conversations with my ex did I ever make any sexual advances toward them. I fully admit that exchanging Rule 34 with them was extremely irresponsible of me, but I genuinely didn't think anything of it at the time.
I might be wrong, but I kind of feel like exchanging Rule 34 with someone is a sexual advance. I don't know about you, maybe I'm wrong. I just feel like sending porn to someone 4 to 5 years your junior is a sexual advance. Maybe not, I don't know.
It was long before we started dating, and never did I ever have any intentions of having our relationship become sexual. They themselves had an NSFW Twitter account at the time, which led me to believe they were overage, and even they themselves said the images they shared were nothing more than a joke to them. So I don't really get how you can go from sending Rule 34 to someone who has an entire account dedicated to sharing Rule 34 to thereby grooming them by sending them stuff they already share around themselves. I just really don't get it.
That's a really dumb argument. Just because they've done it doesn't mean it's okay for you to engage in that kind of behavior with them. It's just a really dumb argument, and it's hard to think of a good example to explain what I mean, so I'm just gonna say that that's a stupid viewpoint.
But from my perspective, living in a country where the age of consent is as low as it is, I saw this as a consenting relationship between two people, and since even their mom was okay with us dating, I stopped questioning the age difference after a while. And yet, the internet keeps misconstruing it as a groomer-victim scenario, when by that logic, you can say the same thing about any relationship with an age gap like the one we had.
What? No, it's because they were a child. They were still in school. And you are an adult that was 19, dating a 14 to 15-year-old. You've got to acknowledge the fact that that's not the same as someone 21 dating someone 25. That's very different because they are both adults. You dated someone that was a kid under law.
I hate that I have to bring this up so much. This is not a comfortable topic for me, and I am in no way excusing my country's laws when it comes to that, but please, I ask that you try and understand where I'm coming from, and that I wasn't trying to hurt this person by putting them in a situation they were uncomfortable with, but that this was an entirely consensual relationship from where I'm standing. And frankly, it's a bit narrow-minded to disregard other countries' cultures just because that's not how you grew up and came to see the world.
Is this guy literally insane? I can't tell, but he sounds literally insane. This argument is so dumb. You're disregarding my culture because that's not how you see it. That's not the point that people are making. The point people are making is it's still morally incorrect in Germany, and you know that. And if it needs to be said, there are German people that have spoke out about your behavior. Just because it's legal doesn't mean it's okay.
Now, because I don't want this whole video to be me deflecting blame, let me be clear that I was not a good boyfriend to my ex. I expected way too much of them. I made them undercharge their work they did for my channel mascot, which I've since retired because they said it gives them panic attacks and I don't want to worsen their mental state. I publicly called them out over very minor mistakes, and I stalked them when I couldn't get over them.
You also emotionally abused them. You also left them multiple times on red in situations where they needed a response. You took advantage of a power dynamic to manipulate them. Do I need to go on?
On top of the Rule 34, these are some severely terrible decisions I've made, and I won't deny the damage this has likely caused, which I can't hope for my ex to ever forgive me for. When I started dating this person, I was still very new to relationships, and I convinced myself that they were the one for me. I wasn't actively seeking out minors. I was interested in my ex because they were talented. Their age was a concern for me at first, but I genuinely thought it would work itself out once they turn 18.
I don't know about you, but that does sound really dodgy. That he was dating a minor, knowing that they wouldn't turn 18 for 3 years, just waiting for the day they turned 18. I don't know. Ooh. I think I'm gonna cut back to me with the script for this, and I'm just gonna leave this video here, because it's getting into murky waters, and I really don't feel comfortable covering this further. Anyway, that's it for this video. I genuinely hope Cosmodore never returns to this platform, and I am fully in support of deplatforming someone who takes advantage of children. This man's behavior is completely morally bankrupt, and I can't stand for a creator like this attempting to get away with this predacious behavior, purely under the pretense that it's apparently not illegal in Germany. Well, Cosmodore, it's still morally wrong. Very, very morally wrong. And I won't just ignore that because he claims it's not illegal. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this video, as always, leave a like and subscribe. These videos aren't the most fun to make, but at least they allow me to vent my frustration on people that actually deserve it. Shout out to my Patreon, Spy62. If you want to support the channel in any way, from subscribing to joining my Discord to following my Twitter or donating on my payment platforms, all the links you could need are in the description. I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you next time. Peace, dudes.
Says she wanna rock with it like me. I'm a stylish guy. Spend a little guap with it like me. We can catch a fly. Says she wanna rock with it like me.